Meeting of military leaders who have been summoned from command posts all around the world by Pete Hegseth to hear his 1 hour long take on, quote, warrior ethos is, if you can believe it, sounding even more weird by the hour. Yesterday, Donald Trump told NBC News that he will now be attending the meeting. Trump said this, quote, "It's really just a very nice meeting, talking about how well we're doing militarily, talking about being in great shape, talking about a lot of good positive things. It's just a good message. We have some great people coming in, and it's just an esprit de corps." You know the expression esprit de corps? That's all it's about. We're talking about what we're doing, what they're doing, and how we're doing. Exactly what one would want the person with the nuclear launch codes to say about the reason he summoned every military leader to a single meeting in one room.
Our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things that
There's a lot of interest in the people coming from space, you know.
Yes.
And I know you're interested in that.
Oh, very
too.
interested in that. How much did they tell you about that?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they tell you? How much can you tell?
So
How's that work? Is it like super top secret?
I can tell, you know.
Tell me.
Well, based on Hunter Biden, I can say whatever the hell I want, right? But no. But I interviewed a few people. It's never been my thing, I have to be honest. I have never been a believer. I have people that Area 51 or whatever it is. I think it's the #1 tourist attraction in the whole country or something. Area 51 in Las Vegas. Do you know that, right?
Sure. I know what it is.
So anyway, but it's a big tourist thing. So I interviewed jet pilots that say they saw something. If you saw them, you'd love to have them as
I've
your
had a
son.
couple in here. Commander David Fravor.
Yeah.
I had him in, who had that sighting in 2004. Very, very compelling with video evidence, radar evidence. Ryan Graves.
I don't believe his name, but I interviewed jet pilots that were solid people. Perfect. I mean, great pilots, great everything. And they said, we saw things, sir, that were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. It was something. And it was going 4 times faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane, you know. And it was round, which is, in theory, a great shape.
So when you were talking to these people, was this something that you were compelled to have conversations about? Was this your personal interest?
No, a little bit. It's not a great interest for me, but it's a little interest. I get that question as much as almost any question. Do you think that we have aliens coming, you know, flying around or whatever?
What do you think?
There's no reason not to. I mean, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, you know, because
Mars, we've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there.
Well, maybe it's life that we don't know about.
Maybe there was life there at one point in time. This is the speculation about Mars, that Mars had an atmosphere at one point in time, a long time ago, that could support life. It also had large bodies of water, but we've had no evidence of even bacterial life that exists on Mars. But the universe is pretty vast.
It's not been a big thing for me. I mean, when I looked at what China did to this, they would have never done it with me, where they put the balloon up, and a lot of people thought for a little while that was you know, one of these things. So,
that's a lot of the speculation too, that some of these drones that hover over battleships, that these are Chinese drones, and that they're not UFOs.
They could be also.
There's some super sophisticated.
But I did interview, let's say 3 or 4 guys that, and without tremendous interest, if you had them. As I said, you'd love to have them as your children. Solid, beautiful people. They said, "Sir, there's something there." You know,
there's something there.
They've said it, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to quite a few of them.
They're not conspiracy guys.
Well, I mean, just the Commander David Fravor thing in 2004 off the coast of San Diego, they clocked that thing going from 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 in a second.
Yeah.
They don't know what it is.
That's tough to beat.
Yeah, they saw something in the water. It was hovering over that something that was making a disturbance in the water. They got video evidence of this thing. 2 different fighter jets with pilots in them saw it. There's, visual evidence, photographic evidence, video evidence, radar evidence. whatever the hell it is, it moves in a way that would turn a human being into jello if they're inside of it. The G-force, no one would survive.
Oh,
so like, what is that? And we don't. It doesn't have a heat signature. They don't know what their propulsion system was. But
when you fly in some of these jets, these pilots have to be in great shape.
Oh yeah, I flew with the Blue Angels once.
Yeah,
I got to fly. I guess it's an FA-18.
And those are older machines.
And they're crazy.
When you fly in some Noblesse, but now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it very soon. There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things that
there's a lot of interest in the people coming from.
Like a missile, though. So in the end game of it all, I would fly right now? No. Secondly, would I recommend you fly right now? That's based on how you feel. I had spiritual discernment, and I believe I was protected with prayer. And it was my certain time to go see important people in my life, so I wasn't going to delay that. But either way, it got delayed anyway. So that's probably just God working in mysterious ways. I just feel like we're always protected and connected. Okay, but now I want you to look over here on screen for me. And how would a plane cause a crater in the ground? But I mean, I guess from the crash it could cause that, but I'm not 100% sure because people think something exploded in the Philadelphia area. What do you think here as we're looking at this drone footage? It's very highly suspect and strange here. But from the aviation people, from people who are good at analyzing crashes, we want to hear from you and the general public at large.
Hey, what's up, guys? Check this out. Normally, we don't see the new moon. Isn't that something? Now we can see the new moon every month on this new spacecraft, the GOES 19 CCOR-1. That's the new moon on February 28th, 2025, right there. Article over here at spaceweather.com talking about this new spacecraft that was just put up into orbit a few days ago, and it's inside the orbit of the moon. So now and in the coming months, we'll be able to see the new moon from this spacecraft. The reason the moon is illuminated, that is due to a process known as Earthshine. That is light reflecting off of the Earth onto the moon, because the moon is obviously in between the Earth and the sun right here. It looks like the moon is illuminated by the sun, but it's not. Once again, the moon is in between the Earth and the sun. This side of the moon would be dark if it wasn't for the light of the Earth. It's called Earthshine. Here's another view, a close-up view. Really cool view, by the way, of the ongoing.
This is real life, real time. This is what I'm looking at right now. That's in the sky. Don't know what it is. Came out of nowhere, really. But this shit is so real. Excuse my language, but this is the real deal. I said I wasn't gonna believe it till I seen it, and here it is. It's huge, you guys. I'm so far away from this thing, and that thing is still huge. This is real life, real time.
Avi on us for purposes either benign or malevolent. It's not the first time astrophysicist Avi Loeb has suggested the object has alien origins. He came on this show to say so a while back, even saying the object could be on a mission to release, quote, mini probes that could invade Earth. And Avi Loeb joins us now. He's the head of the Galileo Project, director of Harvard University's Institute for Theory and Computation, also the best-selling author of the book Extraterrestrial. Okay, why are we just now figuring out this thing is as big as it is? Why were we wrong in the estimates of its size?
Thanks for having me. Well, we know that the object is losing mass because we see a cloud of gas around it that is a result of its warming up as it gets close to the sun, but it doesn't change its path. There is no push that is visible on the trajectory of the object, and that means that it's very massive, at least 1,000 times more massive than the previous one, which was a comet, Borisov, discovered in 2019. Not only that it's so massive, much more than the previous one, but there is also not enough rocky material in interstellar space to deliver such a giant rock into the inner solar system over the past decade.
Well, explain that. Explain that, Avi. Like, so what do you mean there's not enough rock? What do you mean? Does this mean you don't, this is even further reason for you to think this isn't a natural object?
Well, yes, because there is limited reservoir of rocky material per unit volume in interstellar space. And even if you package all of it in objects of this size or bigger, then there is just not enough number of objects to deliver them at random once per decade to the inner solar system. So that's another issue. And the trajectory of this object is aligned with the planets around the sun, the plane of the planets. And on the one hand, you know, that's extremely rare, 1 in 500 chance, but on the other hand, it offers us an opportunity to observe it. And indeed, by the end of this week, it will come within 29 million kilometers from Mars, and there are several orbiters there that were deposited there by NASA, by the European Space Agency, by the Chinese Space Agency, and we will get much more information about it. In particular, we can get an image with a 30-kilometer pixel size. So we can then look at the brightest pixel and infer how big is the object.
Oh my God! Y'all, The Simpsons predicted that the Anunnaki gods is gonna come back and get us, yo. I need y'all to see this video real quick, yo. This shit was talking about basically the Mayan gods, but the Mayan gods that was pertaining to the... Look at this, look at this. Yo, the giant Nephilim beings coming back, destroying the planet. Look at this, y'all. What? And then look at this. Did y'all see this show? Basically how they put together the same type of people at this big ass rave. Y'all, then you know what else this reminded me of? This also reminded me of like some Transformers shit, like how they came down and everything. Yo, like, this is almost on the same type of deal. Look at these beings, y'all. They big as shit. Does this not look like they're preparing for something? Look at this. This is for entertainment purposes only, y'all.
Everything you're good at, a virtue, asserting. And in war, asserting is more important than explaining. Woke military. What are you going to do?
Well, the military is not woke. Some of the really foolish leaders on the top are woke, but I took out ISIS, and there was nothing woke about it. I dealt with a general. You could put him and his men in a room and scream woke at them for 10 years, and they'd walk out and they wouldn't be woke.
But there are a bunch of generals at the top that are
correct.
Woke, and you're going to you'd get rid of them.
I get rid of them so fast, and I know who they are. They're weak, ineffective people, and they are actually woke. I think they actually believe it. I was told in Washington it would take at least 4 or 5 years, and we probably couldn't do it. I did it in 4 weeks.
That includes other conferences and career fairs with thousands of participants, thousands of qualified, highly skilled participants. So what's the reason? They're black. Are they qualified? Yes. Are they highly skilled? Yes. Are they sought after? Yes. Would they benefit the military? Yes. But because they're black, this is where the rubber hits the road, folks. Are they skilled? Yes. But are they black? Yes. Disqualified. We're not even going to look at them. We're not going to seek them. We're not going to try to recruit them because they're black, in spite of the fact that they're qualified, in spite of the fact that they have a specialization, a skill set that is wildly needed by our government. But because they're black, they're not being hired. And we're going to finish with that quote I read earlier. It's fucking racist, one active duty Army general told military.com, on the condition of anonymity to avoid retaliation. For the Army now, it's blacks need not apply, and it breaks my heart. That's not coming from me. That's not coming from me, critics who said, oh, Donald Trump's not in it for the segregation. You're just lying. You're a libtard. Hurt me there. A U.S. Army general, someone who, he hadn't been there, they hadn't been there, whatever they are, a woman or man, hadn't been there for 15 minutes. They've likely been there for 30 years. They are also a subject matter expert, YouTube troll. You are not. You are an armchair moron who supports a fascist. You're just lying, libtard. Fantastic. I stand by my earlier video from February 6th, and I'm adding to the pile of evidence here. This is the agenda. The Republican Party is the most organized, most effective white supremacy organization on the planet. And they're going to ruin our military. They're going to decrease its numbers. Anyway, all of the things that you can extrapolate from what kind of deleterious effects this will have on military readiness, on our security posture on a global stage. What do you think? I invite you to this conversation.
45,000 residents. If you're Hispanic, it takes about 1.4 million residents for that same representation. If you are black, it takes 2 million. In this proposal, a Hispanic Texan has 1/3 the political value of a white Texan under this plan, and a black Texan 1/5. It would take 3 Hispanics to equal the representation of 1 white Texan and 5 black Texans to equal the value of 1 white Texan. Any fair reading of this map shows what it actually does. It systematically dilutes Latino and black voting strength while cementing and increasing Anglo control. We have not seen a map this deliberately engineered by skin color since the days that brought Americans to march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama in the 1960s. Marches that helped to bring about the Voting Rights Act just months later. You cannot say you found a way for one racial group that is 40% of our state's population to have 70% political control in this state and say that the racial disparities are merely coincidental. This map is an abomination.
Went through and you saw that, the Navy Yard. I saw it this morning. They saw that they fought back against law. See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night. And they're not going to be fighting back long because I've instructed them and told them whatever happens, you know, they love to spit in the face of the police as the police are standing up there in uniform. They're standing and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they can hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any search. So and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. Just this past weekend, only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms. But we are under invasion from within. We're stopping it very quickly. After spending trillions of dollars defending the borders of foreign countries, with your help, we're defending the borders of our country from now on. But together with many of you in the room, we've brought back the fundamental principle that defending the homeland is the military's first and most important priority. That's what it is. But we're running it based on common sense and based on love of our country. But I want to running it based on common sense and based on love of our country. But I want to salute every service member who has helped us carry out this critical mission. It's really a very important mission. And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military. Because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor, stupid. We have many cities in great shape too, by the way. I want you to know that. But it seems that the ones that are run by the radical left Democrats, what they've done to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places. And we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. Portland, Oregon, where it looks like a war zone. And